And here we are again, Tyler.
Flying through the streets of what city are we in today?
I don't know. I guess we're in Seattle today.
We're in Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
And driving backwards again.
Okay. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world right now. Okay. Talking about the economy. Are we in a recession? Are the interest rates going to keep going up? Like,
the answer is
are we financially being strangled right now?
The answer is always yes.
There's so many things happening geopolitically. There's wars going on, as we know. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world that is causing what?
Anxiety, stress. Yes. Stress. Now imagine all this stuff going on, family stuff going on, and running a business and being responsible for all that stuff.
Well, and also trying to keep a calm face in front of your patients with all this extra stress happening in the world. And anxiety.
I kind of like, we gotta...
You like how I framed this today?
I can feel now. I'm like all anxious now.
I'm not trying to make you stress. I'm just saying I think that like
out.
I can feel it, right? I can feel that I think there's an added layer, coming out of, COVID, the economy's trying to restart, and then, inflation hits the roof, both in Canada and the US.
Just don't turn on the TV.
Try to watch less news. Yeah. I actually said that this morning as I have a habit of flicking on the TV at like 5 a.m. and watching a little bit of news and then getting up and kind of shaking my head as I walk to the bathroom, which is it's not a healthy way to live, to wake up in the morning.
And they're trying to make entertainment. They want you to watch.
Well, they're trying to get eyeballs to watch their show.
That's right. It's always breaking news.
Fear. Yeah. Bad things are happening.
Oh no.
So let's reverse engineer. Let's reverse thrusters this. Okay.
Like we're already going backwards, so that's good.
It's good. I want to talk about how we can deal with this. And Steve Adams reached out to me not too long ago, and I took a look at Tiger Performance Institute, and I'm like, man, oh man, we got to have Steve on the show. Steve, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. And I kind of wanted to open up the show talking a little bit about stress and anxiety and what's going on in the world and how we're all trying to function within, kind of a heightened anxiety level for most people in the Western Hemisphere, I would assume. Mm-hmm. Let's jump in, man. Like, tell us about Tiger PI. Who are you? What's your story?
Great question. Thank you for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. Let me tell you about Tiger as a brand. We have a performance institute and a medical institute. And I came to this kind of work by way of being a corporate banker first and then being an entrepreneur and scaling a pet retail chain.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so I know firsthand what a lot of stress feels like. And so I arrived in my early 50s feeling terrible, not having energy, not sleeping well. I had reflux for 25 years. I had a myriad of challenges, anxious. And one of the challenges was I would go to a traditional medical provider, who are great people, by the way. Nothing I'm going to say in this time together is going to be throwing them under the bus. But the model in the US and maybe to an extent in Canada, it's really built upon diagnosing a pathology and then prescribing or some kind of intervention. But until there is a codable problem, a disease, the model really isn't built to reward the provider financially or pay the bills to do anything beyond that. And the problem is that for me and for millions of other people who are high achievers is that we get to that middle age and we feel all of these things, but we're pre-disease and the system is not built for us. And so you get a lot of generic advice, like maybe you shouldn't work so hard or rest a little bit or walk more. None of that's helpful, okay? Because there's no precision to it. And so I got so bad, I actually had to sell my company, or I had to sell my equity to my partners and get out. And I went on a journey trying to find an answer. And I met with a physician who practiced medicine from a root cause cellular-based approach. And he treated me for a year, and he reverse engineered me in a very precise way, and I was transformed. And I felt like I felt in my early 30s. And he addressed everything that the traditional system wasn't addressing. And out of that, we formed a partnership together and designed a very organized, curated approach that works with busy people's schedules, where we go on a journey for a year with people. And that's what Tiger Medical Institute is today, our medical brand.
Got it. Where do we begin with this? I mean, I think you've sort of hit the nail on the head when it comes to like, and I think our country is very similar in this, is that so much of what's happening in healthcare is reactionary. Mm-hmm. And, and we see this in the dental world too, where it's like, I have friends, like this just happened to me 2 days ago where, obviously hockey's big in Canada, as you know. I'm a hockey coach. I'm talking to one of my fellow hockey coaches, and he remarked to me, he said, Tyler, you're in dental. I haven't been to the dentist for 10 years. And I said, oh, well, that's shocking. You should probably go. Again, I'm being kind of generic about it. And he says, well, yeah, I guess, I'm getting up there. I'm, 50's around the corner, and I think you're right. But I feel okay. Like this, I'm not having any pain, or, I'm all right. And I said, yeah, but would you rather go now and make sure everything's okay? Or would you rather go when you have to go?
Right.
And it kind of resonated with him. And he said, yeah, you're right. Where should I go? So of course I recommended a place to go, and he went. But, that sort of was a microcosm for me as to what, like I guess the paradigm shift or the mental shift, where it's like it goes from being preventive to reactive. And it seems to me like what you guys are trying to do is you're trying to sort of cut it off at the head and say, let's be preventive about this.
And
first.
How many people end up just dealing with the problem when it gets awful, right?
And you lose a lot of your options then. It costs a lot more money, and you lose a lot of options then. And also it interferes, so a typical dentist, when they get to 50, 55, they're pretty successful. They've built some wealth, and a very quick way to lose your freedom and enjoy that wealth is to go into a disease state. So what you said is absolutely correct. And all we've done is, instead of like the generic prevention, what we've done is we've built a data-driven, evidence-based, science-based approach to preventative medicine, where you get very proactive on this. And the thing is that people are already sick. They're just not at a disease state. They know something's wrong. They don't, our clients come to us, they are usually have visceral fat around the waist that is from a high cortisol profile and poor sleep and poor stress management. So, and maybe hormone imbalance. And so literally nothing they do can get rid of that other than these radical diets that are not sustainable. Okay. They come to us with poor sleep, very poor stress management. Most of them have anxiety or a lot of foreboding feelings. A lot of them are very low energy, not sleeping well. Their performance is starting to fade. They're having to work twice as hard to get the same result. Many of them have libido or sexual dysfunction issues, which then that gyrates into relationship issues and all these other things. And so these are just a few. And if you come to us with that profile, you may not be codable to a disease, but you don't feel well and you want it addressed. That kind of person we can help really well because of the testing is different than what a traditional doc does. We incorporate genetics, so it's very personalized and precision. And I can unpack that later if you want to go deeper on that. But the big thing is that the coach, we have a health coach and a physician that go on a journey for a year with that person.
Wow.
In a way that they can do it. Like it's all remote through Zoom after they come to Seattle one time. That's how busy people can do it. They're not going to go somewhere 20 times,
Right.
So that's it in a nutshell.
So they come to Seattle, you build their treatment plan.
Yep.
And then from there in, it's really kind of a more of a what's the word, like a mentorship or like like you said, coaching, right?
Right. It's where what we're doing is with health habits around food and behaviors that are very rooted in emotion and associations and things like that. And so there's some work and our people are very skilled at. They've been trained and certified in certain areas to be able to help people make behavior change. Because the way we do this is, our doctor has taken somebody from type 1 diabetes to cured he has taken someone with triglycerides at 550 plus down to 140. He does all of this without medication.
Wow.
Now there might be some initially, but there's 8 health habits that we do with every client, and then there's their personalized plan, and we integrate both of them. So it's lifestyle change, habit change. That's what drives the healing. And what's cool about it is it's from the ground up. It's root cause. Our doctors are discovering the underlying mechanisms that are causing you to be anxious, to be overweight, to not have energy, to not sleep well. All of those, they will find what's actually causing it. And then the treatment plan and our habits address them. And so now they're sustainably fixed. Mm-hmm. It's not a short-term fix. It's sustainably fixed.
So this is all internal issues. As part of the plans, hooking them up with a good lawyer or accountants to alleviate some of these external things, or is it more just internal based, individual based?
Right. So one of the things, like in our performance company, we talk about, if you want to be in a peak flow state, you have to have a 3-legged stool, and that is optimize physiology, optimize psychology, and then you have to re-engineer your life to live a high flow lifestyle. Flow is a peak state of consciousness. And so we come around them and we address the physiology with our medical brand, but then we have an online course with 46 20-minute videos that teach them about optimized psychology and mindset, as well as how to re-engineer and design their life to be able to do this. So we do that part for them. Most of the people that come to us, though, are very successful. Mm-hmm. They typically have those advisors.
Sure.
But, one thing that I do is, because I was a corporate banker, I got to work with hundreds of very successful companies in my career. Plus, I built my own. I have a deep well of entrepreneurial knowledge, and everybody that's a client, I give them my cell and they have access to me. And so I'm willing to share. Not that I know everything, but I'm definitely willing to share.
I suppose it's, these very successful, top performing type people, the energy that they're spending in their lives are for everything else. They're for their business, and it's the personal neglect that we're now like, that's great. You have a successful practice. You're doing all the great things. You got a nice car. Like, let's open your own hood and take a look at that. And I was listening to this podcast, and it was they were interviewing this fella that worked in hospice, and he was going into like the 5 things that people who were talking about at end of life, and one of them was not taking care of themselves. The other was they've worked too much. I think it's hard when we're all down in the trenches, we really, it's hard to like kind of just park and just reflect and self-assess. So
that's the biggest problem I have. Like, I have a hard time turning this off. I mentioned this, like how I was up at 5 a.m. this morning, but when I wake up in the morning, the first place my brain goes is, how's the business doing? How am I going to pay for that? How are we going to bring more customers in? Like, you know what I mean? So you're, as an entrepreneur, I mean, I'm sure I'm not alone. That's probably what 90% of them wake up with. Those are the thoughts we all have as an entrepreneur, right?
So do you, part of your program, do you slow down the rotation of the earth to give everybody more time?
We do. Well, yeah, that's a great question. And I want to address that whole, we take care of everybody else too, but one of the health habits that we teach is heart rate variability training. And one of the things that we do is we get people right away when they get out of bed to get very present through a breathing exercise for 5 minutes, because your cortisol is at a peak in the morning. That's the hormone of fear. I do the same thing, man. I wake up.
This is interesting. This is really interesting now. Okay, yeah, keep going.
Instantly, I go to, making payroll and all. I mean, I'm not in that condition right now, but I go to, what clients have said they're going to sign up and haven't signed up, and how are we doing? Your mind just starts spinning, right?
Right.
And I stop when I hit the button to my coffee maker, and I sit and I do my thing. and it eliminates all of that on demand, and I get myself centered. And we teach our clients to do that, because you've got to learn how to do that. That's the foundation of our whole program, is our breathing program, because that amplifies all the results of everything else we do. So we are very aware of that, and because I've lived that life myself, we've built this based on the things I was looking for. Let me go back to something you said about we don't take care of ourselves. We all have that Maslow's hierarchy, and I go to dental conferences, and they're all meeting marketing people and all of that, and they're always trying to optimize that top corner, that self-actualization corner.
Yeah.
But they're doing it on a really shaky foundation of physiology. They're not taking care of themselves because they're taking care of everybody else first. We all do this. Leaders eat last, right? So what we teach them, and I wrote a book actually that we share with dentists called Patient Number One with a question mark. And the whole book, it's only 80 pages, is to help turn their head and go, listen, you wouldn't treat yourself this way if you were a patient. So make yourself patient number one as a dentist, and then your patients in your practice, your employees, your spouse, everyone will benefit when you learn to embrace self-care for yourself.
That's brilliant. It makes me think of when I remember my mom, my parents ran an animal hospital, a veterinary clinic here. And, they had a coach come in. This was many years ago, but I remember one thing that, and I was maybe like 12, 13 years old. And I remember my mom coming home and said, I learned something very important today. And she said, the coach taught me something that I've never been told. And they said, pay yourself first. Mm-hmm. As an entrepreneur, make sure you're paid first, because if you're not paid, the company you can't take care of yourself. The company can't go on. And obviously that's a monetary thing. However, it translates over to me for healthcare too, where it's like, if your house isn't built properly, if you're not looking after this, how are you going to be able to perform at your highest level for your patients?
Yeah, 100%. Or for your family, or
yeah, or just to be present, and there's been days where where I will take a reset, right? Where doing some of the stuff that, not doing what you teach or what you do for your clients, but I will, I did Pilates throughout university. I did a lot of sort of relaxation and breathing exercises as well, coming up through school, and was lucky to get that type of training. So for me, sometimes I will stop as well, and I'll say, okay, you know what? I'm letting life carry me away. I'm letting the stress take over. And I'm trying to use this to overpower what's happening around me. So I'll slow down. I'll do some breathing exercises. And I find that when I do that, and I think this is what you're probably experiencing with your clients, is that it gives me almost like a psychological reset to say, now I stopped where that was going. I'm reset my brain. I breathed a little bit. I paused. I gave myself some perspective. This issue sitting in front of me isn't that big of a deal, right? I have friends who are, I have friends who've passed away from cancer. I have, there's other things that are happening in the world that are 10 times worse than anything I'm going through, knock on wood. But it's just taking that moment to pause and breathe and go, okay, this is a problem. It's stressful, but it's not that bad.
Otherwise, what's the point of it all?
Yeah.
I agree. And we find, the journey that people take to come to us is they get to the point where they're not feeling well. They start trying to reach out to traditional medicine. The answers aren't there. So they start going to biohacker sites, which are great. But when you start doing that, you start talking to different people where their one thing is what's going to work. And then this guy has one thing they do and it's going to work.
Right.
And before you know it, you're doing 7 things and you don't even know if it's actually helping you. You're taking 23 supplements. You don't know if they're actually helping you.
Right.
That was me. And so that's what my frustration was. So that's what I've tried to do. The big pain point is for that person at that point in the search, instead of talking to 17 people who have their one thing, give us an opportunity, because we're going to give you a comprehensive, we're going to come around you and we're going to do a whole comprehensive deal, evidence-based. It's all going to be based on your unique physiology. And it's organized as like a hero's journey. We're going to go along on this journey with you and help you get there. And that's what I've tried to do, is fill that space. Some people have better diagnostics. Some people might test for cooler things. we give away our 8 health habits all the time because we know you won't do them. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
right.
That's a really good point.
So that's
Really good
yeah.
point.
So basically, yeah. So it's just when you're ready to change, people come, and then that's why you look on our website and you see all of the testimonials because we came alongside them.
Speaking of testimonials, I did watch the one with Dr. Walter Hunt.
Yes. Yep.
Man, oh man, he's like a changed human. He
is.
lost, what was it, 16 pounds of belly fat, and
He did.
it was really cool to watch his story. So tell us a little bit about his journey and how that went for him.
So Dr. Hunt was approaching retirement, selling his practice and good, you're on the Tiger MI
I think if you keep
website.
going down, yeah,
that's the one.
just below her.
Dr. Hunt came to us, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, had that visceral fat. And for him, same thing. He's a busy dentist. I don't have time to do all this research. I don't want to experiment for 5 years and waste money. I'm going to trust you guys and come on board. And he did. And with him, it was so simple. Once we got him sleeping well, did you want me to be quiet?
No. Keep going.
We're just playing in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. Once we got him doing the heart rate variability work so that he was proactively mitigating stress on demand, we got him using best practices sleep hygiene. We got him on a couple more habits like time restricted eating, daily walking. What happens is it's not one of those things, it's all of them start to synergize. And the guy lost like 16 pounds in the first 12 weeks, sleeping like a baby, de-stressed him. So what that does then is, our doctor works from a cellular level, and what he tells us all the time is if you're not sleeping well and you're stressed out, you're creating a very poor environment for your cells. So once we get that's why in the first 60 days we attack stress and sleep, because if we can get the environment for the cells better, now the interventions that the doctor does from a treatment side all get magnified and accelerated. And that's what happened for Walter.
And I love that it's based on science. Like
Absolutely.
how many companies out there are just selling a placebo?
Yep. Sizzle.
Is it? We're calling it sizzle. Yeah.
This is anti-sizzle. Like our doctors are both medical school grads. They're certified by UCLA's neurosurgeon and Alzheimer's prevention. We're a clinical partner of the Amen Clinic, which you guys may have heard of, brain scan company. These guys we work with the most advanced genetic partner in the world, founded by Harvard doctors. So here's a cool thing. So 80% of our customers come to us pre-diabetic.
Really?
Yep. Because of our modern lifestyle just puts us there with the SAD diet.
100%. Yeah.
So what Dr. McNamee says, and Dr. Krebs, who, by the way, is Canadian. She went to the Naturopathic MD school in Toronto.
Very cool.
So what they say is if we have 10 people who are diabetic or pre-diabetic, based on their unique combination of positive and negative genetic markers around diabetes, they can literally treat each of the 10 people in a different way and optimize the results. Where in the past, people got all treated the same. So right now, Dr. McNamee just last week told me of the 80-some people we have there isn't a single 2 people on the same protocols.
That's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Just the customization approach, and that's like you guys said, it's like, I don't want a pill.
No,
I've never taken pills.
No, exactly.
And if we can get around it, if we can be preventive and really sort of, like you said, book your health assessment is right on your website. So it's, so I guess that's my next question. So how does someone get started with Tiger Performance?
Sure. So, and it's my fault, I didn't educate you guys well enough. The Tiger Medical Institute is the main website.
Oh, okay. My apologies. Yes.
No, it's okay. You don't need to apologize. It was probably supplied to you that way. Right. It's Tiger, so Tiger, like the cat. Yeah. Tiger, M is in Michigan, I is in international. Yep, and there it says book a health assessment.
Got it.
Right there.
Okay, yeah, yep. I like this. So it says become patient number 1. Yeah, see, this is clever.
Yeah. So So that's one thing you can do and book an appointment. You can talk to me or you can talk to Troy. I'd actually encourage people to talk to Troy. He's actually better at it than I am.
Humble.
So the other thing, if you back up, you can also go to our learning center. If you go to the top of the website
Yeah.
and click on learning center, some people are just not ready to talk to a human. They want it. So say you have sleep problems, click there. And now it'll feed up a bunch of articles with embedded videos, and you can learn about sleep and our approach to treating sleep. And you will gain a lot of confidence in our company, and then you can move up to actually meeting with us in person. So that's another way.
Amazing.
What a great resource. This is awesome.
Oh, yeah. And please, go there and enjoy it and use it. And then
I'm going to, yeah.
One other area you can go to, if you go to the top, guys, and hit, because I don't see this on there. I see you got testimonies. We're full disclosure on pricing, programs, everything. Mm-hmm. But if you go to the main bar on the top and just add after the .com /one ONE. Just do one ON, like the number one spelled out.
Okay.
So ONE.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hit enter, and that'll take you to a free book you can have from me. We will mail it to you. An actual physical book we'll mail to you, which is written to dentists. And it'll help them get their head around, becoming a proactive healthcare investor versus a healthcare consumer. Wait till you're sick. So 3 ways to engage. Go to the learning center.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, book a call or get your free book, and we won't wear you out and chase you all the time either. We want to nurture you to an educated place where you're interested in. And you can't just sign up. You got to talk to somebody here first.
Well, that makes sense to me. It's not just one track journey. It's it's a custom built solution.
But I think also for dental professionals like us, we spend all day with dentists, helping them put marketing plans together, helping them with build their practices, all the rest of it. Even like myself consuming this content, reading this book. There's probably a lot of great tidbits I can pick up in there and just, throw out to my clients to say,
definitely,
which will force them to say, well, where did you learn that? And then I can get that book in their hands too. Just through dispensing little tidbits along the way.
Yeah.
This is brilliant.
No, I'm seeing a lot of synergy to what we're trying to accomplish out there to just creating happy, successful people. A lot of that comes with growth, but let's talk about personal growth as well, I think.
Well, there's so many transition points along the way for dentists, right? So here they are, they come out of school saddled with a mountain of debt, right?
Yep.
And then along comes a guy like me and says, let's build a dental practice. Oh, by the way, the price tag is going to be at least $1 million, right?
Yeah.
So, stress number 2 comes along. And then they build their practice and they're like, well, now how am I going to get patients, right? Stress number 3. So the lineup of stresses come along. So I think that the more sort of checkpoints along the way to say, hey, that's really kind of what we do is we kind of, walk them through the process of what it really takes to build a dental practice and build a patient base and all the rest of it. And then obviously there's the whole marketing side of it, which is what kind of Dentist on Demand is based upon, is to really have this in our back pocket to say, you know what, we not only have tools to build your practice and market you and make sure that you have a healthy patient base, we also have this great tool in our back pocket to help you make sure that, those stresses, which are unavoidable, debt's always part of the equation. You got to build a practice.
Taxes too.
Taxes,
guaranteed thing.
The daily, the laundry list of stuff that comes out. And this is not just dental specific. This is for anyone that opens a practice, whether you're a dentist, a medical professional, whether you're an optometrist. They all face these similar stressors. So to have this in their back pocket to say, you know what, there's techniques that you can bring into your daily routine. Let's start having that conversation and make sure we're proactive about managing your stress level.
I think it's not like you could. I think it's you should.
Right. Well, you guys, you've identified all of those key transitions, and that's why at 50 they show up to us. pretty fatigued because they've had to manage through those. And so we understand that. And, I work with other people that are in the dentistry space, and we always say, look, you guys help them get there, and we just help them enjoy it longer. And then they're actually better clients for you too, because if they bring their A game of energy and show up as the best version of themselves a year later, they're going to implement what you teach them even better. Mm-hmm. Their resiliency and their energy and their optimism, all that gets restored.
Yeah, I'm sold. That sounds. It's a no-brainer for me.
And I think, what would you say that, because you're in Texas, Steve?
Yeah. Yep.
So would you say that Texas is overserved for dentistry or underserved?
I don't know. I don't think so, because it's a growing state.
Yeah.
And anytime you have growing population, I was just on the ADA website recently, and it was like one dentist per 60,000 people or some crazy number. It seems like there's plenty of room for growth.
Oh, wow.
Right. And the other thing is, it's like 50. I'm trying to think of the number. There's like 220,000 dentists in North America, and like 120,000 are 45 and older. And there's 7,000 or 8,000 a year retiring. So,
yeah,
I think there's plenty of room in dentistry, and it's a growth industry. It's about 8 to 10% wherever you look, all mashed together. I think if you go into implants and specialty dentistry, it's double digit. Mm-hmm. And then our approach to medicine, we're a functional medicine company. We're so much more than that. But if you put us in a bucket that's broader, that's growing at 20 to 22% a year.
Wow. Right. Yeah. And it's that the reason I asked that is because it feels like a fulcrum where it's like you don't have enough patients. And then it literally goes like this. All of a sudden, the perfect amount of patience happens, and then it just goes the other way, where it's like, I'm now too busy. I show up every day, and I've got my handpiece in my hand, and I've got my loops on, and then I look up, and it's 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Like, we work with dentists who are just starting out, and I always say to them, I'm like, don't worry, you will be busy enough. We will get you busy. You will be busy enough, either number one on your own, or number two, we'll get you there. We'll shorten that track to get you to be as busy as you want to be. But I think that in Canada, we notice that like the urban centers, like Vancouver, Toronto, the big cities, I think that they might be a little overserved. Obviously the metropolitan areas, right. The rural areas, on the other hand, I think we're seeing the opposite. So things like virtual care, like what you guys do with your clients, where you have them come to Seattle, then you do the follow-ups on Zoom. I think we're starting to see a little bit more of that in dentistry, whereas if someone wants to do something elective like cosmetic,
sure,
or if they want to do ortho, a lot of that stuff can be done virtually now, especially if they live in a remote area.
Well, I'm doing that. I've got an orthodontist in Las Vegas who's a client of ours, and he's going to do my ortho. I'm going to go out there once or twice, and the rest is going to be virtual. And so it's funny, I have really nice, clean, bright teeth, but they're crooked from an accident when I played high school basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm speaking to dentistry, man. I got to get these babies fixed. You can't show up in dentistry with not straight teeth, so it's funny.
Yeah, I did the same thing. As a hockey player, these have been bashed around, so I've had some work done. That's for sure.
Yeah, yep, that's right. There was something I was going to bring up and I lost it.
Sorry, I interrupted you there.
It always happens.
Well, no, it was about your growth piece, and I know what it was. One of the things that we're going to do this with one of our clients is, because right now our clients are primarily 45 and up, because they need to feel something first, and the young guys are paying the debt off, paying you. They don't have a lot of extra money, and we have a tiered program, so it's not.
They don't pay us; they pay the bank, Steve.
Yeah, right. True.
We try to get them to pay less, but carry on.
So what I want to do is start doing a program where it's literally, we do a group program for their staff and the dentist who's a young dentist, where it's just health coaching, implementing our health habits with one wearable bio device. And if we get somebody, a dentist in their early 30s, mid 30s, and we start working with them like this, it's very affordable and they can benefit their whole practice. So that's like the next area we're going to move into. That's
a brilliant plan.
I like that.
I really like that. Just sort of like ongoing, right? Like it's preventative. It's like, it's ongoing. It's like, it's coaching for your healthcare. And I think that, I
Yep.
mean, so many dental practices, they invest in consultants who, guys like us to come in and, help them straighten out their marketing. They rely on us to bring in other consultants to help them with their, the business side of the practice.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they do that for their health, for their own health too? That's
They
great.
should do that first, almost.
Right. And it's speed, you know what I mean? If you bring in people who already know how to do it, you just accelerate the curve and everything, whether it's marketing, business, health, whatever. Yeah.
100%. Steve, this has been great. It's been a real eye opener for us
you.
to see sort of what you guys are doing. And like I said, when you and I connected online, it was like, it took me about 30 seconds to see what you were doing and to say, yeah, we need to have him on. I want to hear more about this.
Yeah. And that's not bad looking at our old website. The new one's better.
Yeah. Now that I'm on the right website.
Yes.
That's my bad, I guess.
No, it's not. We're actually in a transition from one brand name to the other, and we're about done with that. So it's our problem, not yours. Don't worry about it.
I like to take things. I'll take the responsibility. It's my fault. Yeah.
Own it.
I own it.
Thank you so much for being on with us today, Steve. Is there anything else you want to share with us before we sign off?
No, I would just say this, whether you ever work with us or not, I just want to implore you, if you're someone, it's a clinician, dentist, or any listener, don't wait till you're sick. Be an investor. Don't outsource your $1 billion asset to Health Canada or the insurance industry in the United States. You spend more money on a car or going to Starbucks over 5 years than you do with us. Make the investment one time in your life, get better, whether it's with us or somebody else, and push that health wealth trade-off way out in the future.
Take care of patient number one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank
you so much for.
I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on with us today. And I'm going to order my book. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to ask for one.
Please do.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, Steve, we'll have a great weekend, and I'm sure we'll have you on again soon.
And we'll be talking more for sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Take
care,
care,
guys.
You bet.